Now, so many people today are looking for jobs or careers or trying to find paths in life in which they can work from home. And a lot of people are taking interest in day trading, say, for example. And futures provides a great means to provide for you and yourself and your family, means of living. Okay, I'm talking about, cash, income. You can do this part-time or full-time, doesn't really matter. But scalping the NASDAQ futures has really been life-changing for me, because I'm able to make a living doing so, all right? Now, I do look at other markets, like the E-mini S&P 500, gold, which is GC, and you have micro versions of those markets as well. But when it comes to scalping the actual NASDAQ futures, and just basically trying to make $500 a day, all right? If you have a goal set to do so, you don't need to spend a lot of time. I mean, hours upon hours on the day trying to make money. You really only need about an hour to 2 hours max a day. No, those days of working 8, 10, 12-hour days like you may have done so at your job, they're long and gone. This is a great opportunity for anyone that's a beginner, anyone that's looking for a systematic strategy and understanding and learning how to trade futures. I provide lots of valuable content here on my channel surrounding the strategy and how I trade. And especially to all those that are elite and ultra elite supporters of the community, they are the ones that benefit the most, because they pretty much receive, the breakdown, the cornerstone, just the really nuts and bolts to the strategy and how I trade. It's a private community. It's very inexpensive, but I will throw that at the end of this video. So please stay tuned and watch the video in its entirety today. But I just want to talk to you about, when it comes to scalping the NASDAQ futures, can you make $500 a day? Can you make $1,000 a day? Can you make $5,000 a day? Yes, it depends on the amount of capital and how much you really know as far as trading. I always talk about the number one concept that you need to master is structure, market structure, because you need to understand the flow and the direction of the market to trade with them. Like over the last few days, we've had this bullish run to the upside. So if the market is trending in one direction, making higher highs and higher lows, please do yourself the biggest favor. Only look for setups going long. And if it's doing the opposite of where it's making lows, lower highs, trending downward, look for key pullbacks to key areas of supply and demand. Yes, that is what I trade, but I break it down and use a very simple strategy. Trading, please do not try to make it as complex as you can. Make it as simple, and that's what's going to work for you, all right? So many people try to, or they overthink. They become so analytical to where they miss the opportunities of trades. And sometimes you only get one to good two quality setups a day, depending on how the market is moving, all right? So, for example, like I'm going to show you, if the market is, say, bullish, all right, we're only looking for demand zones. It's supply, and if it's bearish, supply zones. Okay, there are other opportunities outside of trading supply and demand, like trading liquidity sweeps or grabs. From time to time, I trade those. There was an example of one in today's trading session, and I did a great video on breaking that down and covering within my live recorded trading session for the ultra elite supporters. I will say that right now, but I will go over just quickly what it looks like when you have opportunities of liquidity grabs or sweeps, and what a bullish demand zone looks like. Okay, all right. So we'll take a look here at the structure of the market. Today was a great day. I take typically 1 to 2 scalps a day, and I don't have a set amount as far as I say income that I'm looking to make a day. It's more so based around a point system. So if I can grab 20 plus points a day off of the NASDAQ, that's going to put me over $500 plus a day, trading this particular market. Very easy to do so, especially if you're trading 2 contracts, 3 contracts, 4 contracts on the NASDAQ futures. You only need a couple points to be able to, or gain of a couple points to be able to do so. Trading 1 contract, yeah, you can do it, but you may have to take, say, 2 setups to be able to do that. All right, we're talking about the E-mini versions of this contract, the futures. All right, micros. If you're a beginner trader, I highly recommend anyone out there, please start with that. Why? So you can get the skin in the game. You can test the markets and back test them, and then when you're ready to start trading live, that you get a good feel in the market and you know what you're looking for, and you can start to compound an account. All right, you want to have some exposure, some skin in the game before you start jumping into the big leagues to be able to trade. All right, I highly recommend that. But yeah, so let's take a look at the market. What I look for on a daily basis is just, how is the market flowing? Is it making higher highs and higher lows to the upside, or are we making lower lows where we're breaking a structure to the downside? We are in a bullish channel right here to the upside. So the only thing I would be looking for is pullbacks to key areas of demand, okay? So we're looking for where the market is running and taking out new highs created as the market is moving. So like for right here, we got a high, a higher low. The market makes a new high. It comes down and breaks below this area right here. It makes a low. So it leaves behind this high right here. So the market goes up there. It takes out this bullish, or takes out this high right here. So when we see where the market is aggressively pushing to the upside and it's taking out recent highs, okay, as it's making higher highs and higher lows. So again, high, higher low, high, higher low. It came down, it broke lower, taking out a bit of structure right here, creating this high before doing so, but also creating a low. But then it goes back up and takes out this high right here. So on the move back to the upside, when it breaks structure higher and takes out that high, yes, break of structures are extremely important, because that's what I must have and see when it comes to trading. So a break structure above this high here, aggressive buying to the upside, and I'm looking what areas broke this area of structure right here. Took out that most recent high, was this move to the upside right here. So when it comes back to this zone, I'm going to go ahead and mark it up. When it comes back to my lower range zone, that's when I'm going to move down to my lower range chart to find opportunity on my lower range chart. I first mark it up on my higher range, but then I move down and scale down to a lower range to look for opportunity to take it where? To fill the imbalances back to the upside and back up here towards the high, okay? And hopefully break the high. But in this case here, it went all the way back up, fill all these imbalances, and it retested the high right there. The key is the breaker is getting the direction correct. Make sure you have a breaker structure, and then thirdly, make sure you have a high probability zone marked up. All right, I talk about that in videos. If you don't know much about high probability versus low probability, you can simply go to my homepage on the channel, use the magnifying tool, type in high probability versus low probability, or gaps, or imbalances, and you're going to find some great content there. So that's what I'm looking for. As long as we're bullish to the upside, taking a move like this is going to give me way more than $500, especially if I'm trading two contracts, because I'm looking for opportunity to trade from this area, and I'm aiming back in this area. So I would be interested in getting somewhere in this trade around about somewhere between 635, maybe 640. Just depending what the structure of the market looks like on the lower range chart. Now, going in detail about the strategy is not what the basis, the premises of this video is about. It's about showing you following structure of the market, okay, and scalping the NASDAQ futures, how we can go about doing so by basically marking up, say, for example, a bullish demand zone here, because the market's bullish. I'm looking for demand zones, right? So again, this was a nice setup right here, and you can trade this off the 120 or your higher range chart, but you got to understand, trading from a higher range chart, there could be, you can incur a little bit, you can incur some significant drawdown. I'm not gonna say a little bit, some significant drawdown if you're not getting into the trade correct. And you have to know that this is a bigger zone, because when the market pulls back to a higher range zone like the 120, each one of these candles here is 30 points. All right, so you got to think about that. The market could play around 10, 15, 20 points, pushing up, pulling back, and you could get stopped out. And that's something that you really don't want to do, is incur a lot of drawdown. So, but again, looking for bullish opportunities on a bullish day where the market is trending to the upside in a channel. That's the only thing you should be looking for, is those bullish demand zones. Now, if, for example, people ask me, can you trade this from a smaller, range chart or smaller time frame chart, just looking for scalps that way? Yes, the moves are going to be shorter, they're going to be quicker, but as long as you are moving in the direction with the higher charts, say, for example, we're bullish to the upside on the higher chart here, on my 24 range chart, because I trade range charts, I would look for opportunities to go long based on pullbacks to key areas of demand, because we are bullish to the upside. Just as an example, I'll show you right quick. Okay, we're bullish, right? This isn't today's actual price action, real price action for today. We're making highs, higher lows, higher lows, running to the upside, making a new high here, for example, and then the market comes back. So this is the most recent high, say around about 950 before the market pulled back. Now, when it did come back, we actually broke through this area of structure coming to the downside, right? So we had a high, but we also created a new low. But then the market went back and turned back around to re-break structure and take this high back out. when I see where the market is taking out and broken structure, like I said, and taking out either, in this case here, because we're bullish to the upside, the most recent high, then I'm going to look for a pullback to where I can trade it directly off of my lower range chart. And this is a high probability zone. So the market gets back here. I'm looking to take it back to fill the gaps once again on a lower range chart and take it back to the upside. So aggressively, I'm going to get in when the market taps the zone here, high probability after the structure break here. We retest this high probability zone here. I'm going to get in right here at 935, and I'm going to take it and aim for the first area, say around about 947, pick myself up 12 points, and hopefully I can, if you can stay into the trade to see it take out this high right here. How do you do that? Each time it makes a higher low in a situation like this, you can move your stop from the back end and then position it right here. That's where I go into detail about the cornerstone to our trade, or how I trade. To all those that are elite members, they already know they're getting, all this additional access to that private community content, like the trade breakdowns, the video playlists, the live recorded market sessions or New York session breakdowns. That's like, I posted one today, for example, okay, a live recorded trading session. And that's where you can watch and see me in the recorded video, the trades I take as I'm walking you through my analysis, the perspective of what I'm thinking about in regards to breaking the market down. But again, I'm going to talk about how to become an elite and an ultra elite, because that's really where the nuts and bolts to really how I trade, the blueprint, the cornerstone. That's where you get the full rundown of understanding these setups and from a structure point, or from a market structure point to price action point, to understanding the strategy, as a whole, and why I took the trades. Now, again, break a structure. That's very important. Structure we should already know. We're bullish to the upside. So when I'm looking to take opportunities off my lower range chart, I'm taking it in the directional flow of the higher range chart, where there are structure breaks to the upside. This is a structure break to the upside, taking out a high, okay, here as well. Makes another one to the upside. This is a beautiful area of demand is what I'm looking for, with a structure break coming back to this area here to go long. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. There was another opportunity right here. Now this one, I'm going to say this right quick. It broke structure to the upside, okay, came back, all right, so it broke above this high. It sweep or broke below this low right here, and then it broke structure above this high here. Remember what I said, breaks of structure to the upside is what I love to see. So I was aiming for example, this demand area back down here, right? And when it got here, look what it did. It came down and it actually swept this area of liquidity. Liquidity sweeps are another type of strategy or setup that I trade not too frequently, but they do work out if you know how to trade them the correct way, because that is the centerpiece. That's probably the most important thing when it comes down to trading, because that's what the banks and institutions are looking out for. That's what they're trying to run, is create and sweep areas of liquidity all the time, so that they can take you out, whether you are on the buy side or the sell side of liquidity, and they want to run and stop you out, so that you basically become liquidity in a sense. Okay, so that these situations where the market comes down and it's breaking below, say, equal highs or equal lows, and then it turns back around after grabbing an area of liquidity and pushes back to the upside, those are liquidity sweeps, or what a lot of traders like to classify as liquidity grabs. Okay, so when it comes to, again, trading or trying to scalp the NASDAQ futures for one, you want to make sure that you are looking at a higher base chart and trading in the direction. If the market is bullish, then look for scalps going to the upside, okay? On your either the higher range or lower range chart, it's best to use both, okay? Meaning mark up the higher range chart first, your zone off the higher range, get that correct, and then try to, once the market's retracing back to a zone. I cover this in lots of videos, guys, surrounding the strategy. So please spend some time watching the video content here in this channel, or maybe, take interest in becoming an elite or an ultra elite. That's where I really go into things in great detail about things. And, but yeah, if you're someone that's interested in trying to make $250 a day, $500 a day, just possibly trying to make some extra income, and you don't have to do it every day of the week, especially if you're part-time. You say, hey, I have a little bit of money that I like to, try to focus or center around trading in the markets. Futures is what I'm interested in. I'm looking to make, an extra $1,000 a week, maybe two days out of the week I'll trade. It's a great opportunity to be able to make some extra income, all right? Regardless if you have extra bills you need to get paid, trying to pay the car note off faster, or the mortgage off faster, or simply, enjoying life in the sense of taking some vacations as well. All right, we are ramping into, pretty much almost the fourth quarter of the year. Of course, the holiday season's around the corner, and people are probably saving and putting money away to be able to, do the things they need and prepare for the holidays just as well. So trading futures is a great opportunity if you know how to do it correctly, and you don't have to spend all day doing this. For me, 1 to 2 hours, I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to the New York session, I trade, and everybody is part of our Discord group. And if you're interested in joining the Discord, the link is down in the description portion of the video. They know that 9:30 to 11 o'clock is my cutoff time. If I'm trading pre-market, 7:30 to 9 o'clock, and that's it. Okay? You don't need to trade more than that. Unless you don't get the opportunity to trade in that time frame, then you may need to trade, in a different session, or maybe in the afternoon session, for example. But yeah, trying to make $500 a day simply scalping the NASDAQ futures is definitely can be done. It's easy to do, but you just want to be patient is what I tell people all the time. Patience is everything. You ever heard that term, patience is a virtue? It definitely is. The more you do so, you find yourself being more consistent, and that leads to more profitability. All right. Now, if you're interested in becoming an elite or an ultra elite supporter of the channel, all you have to do is scroll down to the description portion of the video. You're going to see a link titled Ultra Elite Supporters. Okay. You click on that, give it a few seconds. You'll see a few links. I mean, not a few links, but a few tiers pop up to the left-hand side. 3 of them, and you want to choose to become either an elite or an ultra elite. What do you receive? Okay. Or the perks and rewards behind each tier. With the elite supporter tier, you receive all the trade breakdown videos. That's where I go into detail about every trade setup that I post pretty much over when I post my entries or trades over in the Discord community. I break them down clearly for the supporters that are part of the actual group, those that are elite members. That's where I talk about market structure. What does that look like? Price action, stop loss placement, profit target areas. What am I looking at? Why I'm looking at it? Giving you the full mindset of the trades that I actually take, so that you can grasp an understanding. That's the biggest thing, so people can understand setups and know how to go in as far as like what to actually look for when they're back testing and forward testing their the strategy themselves. Okay. Now, you also receive the video playlist as well as a great video that I centered in detail around market structure for anyone struggling with that concept. If you choose to become an ultra elite, you receive everything I just discussed as far as perks and rewards, plus the live recorded trading session video content. That's why I'm recording my full length of my actual recording session, or recording my sessions, and I talking about top-down analysis. I try to get as analytical as possible when it comes to driving home the points about what the market looks like, what we're looking for, what structure looks like, what types of positions should we be looking for. And you see me engage in trades, and I break those down, that video content as well. So I record those videos to help individuals out, in understanding, because people, most people are visual people. So breaking things down from a visual standpoint when I'm recording and explaining the steps and the pieces to, or the mindset behind what I'm looking at and the trades I've taken, that's what helps people out. So if you're interested in joining either the elite or the ultra elite, both are very inexpensive. Click the link down in the description portion of the video, Ultra Elite Supporter, and choose either link that you want to. When you click on or hover over each one of the tiers, it's going to let you know the perks and rewards. So the choice is yours. But outside of that, if you haven't taken time to go ahead and subscribe to the channel, please make sure to do so by subbing down below. As soon as you do that and click on that, click the bell, okay? That's the post notification, so you do not miss any of the uploaded content here on the channel. And last but not least, if you found value in today's video or any of the videos here on this channel, make sure to drop a like on each video that you found value in, okay? I definitely, try my best to explain things and break things down as simple as possible. And, if you're a NASDAQ futures trader, leave a comment down below, or let me know in general what markets you actually trade when it comes to trading futures. And if you trade supply and demand, what is your biggest means of strategy or tool that you actually use that has helped, you become profitable when it comes to trading futures. All right. Take care. I'll see everyone in the next one.